Second gear jerk. Typical DCT stuff. Hope you guys have been having a great week so far. It is Wednesday, and boy, have I been putting some good miles on the car lately. If you guys haven't seen it yet, last video was taking the car out to some new back roads. You know, really got to stretch the car's legs, being that I installed a stage 2 tune a few weeks ago. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about things to look out for when buying an F Series M car. Some of this might be relatable on the E chassis, but since I have an F Series F82 M4, it's going to be more catered to this car. And I think these are important things that you need to watch out for when deciding to buy this car, because they could severely impact your experience of owning the car, how you feel about the car after buying it, and the amount of investment you have to make in the car once you purchase it. So I'm going to be diving a little bit more into each of these points, but before I do, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown on the car. I've had the car for about 8 months now and did a few performance mods, a tune, exhaust, some wheels. So the first item is, when you're shopping for an F82 M4, F87 M2, or an F80 M3, any of the F Series M cars with the S55 engine, you want to keep the crank hub situation in mind. So as you know, these cars are known for spinning the crank hub. From what I've seen online, it's a small population of cars that actually spin the crank hub. It's something where if you do spin a crank hub, it's gonna cost more than if you do it as a preventative maintenance. So the approach right now for everyone owning these cars is to be one of the main things on their bucket list to knock out as soon as they pick the car up. So definitely want to understand when you're going to shop for these cars, is the crank hub done? Because a crank hub job is about $3,500 to $4,000 depending on where you go. And then the alternative to that is doing the crank hub bolt capture, which I opted for. I've seen a lot of good reviews on that, and so far there hasn't been any failures that I'm aware of, and that ran me about $500 total with parts and labor. So, you know, if you're someone who prefers to have more peace of mind knowing that the full crank hub was taken out, pinned, and replaced, if you're planning to go big power or custom tune or big turbo, something like of that sort, then you definitely want to inquire about that when you go to purchase these cars, especially when these cars are starting to leave dealerships in the used car market and starting to go between owners to owners. This is something you want to inquire about, kind of similar to on the V8 M3s with the rod bearings, and on the E46s with the Vanos kits, you know, things of that nature. Every M car has something, right? So I feel like the crank hub is something that could make or break your ownership experience, because imagine buying this car, enjoying it, not being aware of, you know, the failures of the crank hub and the cost involved with fixing that, and then having to you know, come up with $4,000 potentially, and having to deal with your engine, you know, losing timing, things of that nature, right? So I think that's a huge one. Definitely should be aware of that. I'm glad I was, and you know, I kind of went the more affordable route, but nevertheless, I don't think the route that I went, you know, kind of undermines the reliability. Do a little pull here. Now we are in traffic, which kind of leads me to our next point. Actually, that worked out perfect, because I decided to go for the DCT over the manual transmission. Believe it or not, this was a tough choice for me, because I had an E36 and I had a 340 at the same time. And while the 340 was fun, it was just something about rolling gears in the E36 that kind of just kept me connected to the car, gave me something to look forward to. But of course, you got to worry about the clutch, you know, I had to replace the clutch on that car, shifter components, and then if you're in traffic, you know, it's a little bit more work to just kind of keep the car rolling. But yeah, I was thinking about potentially going with a manual F82. Actually, the first F82 that I test drove was a manual, Silverstone exterior, black interior, and it had carbon ceramic. So damn, that was a steal, because I found that one for 43,000. But didn't end up going with the manual after a couple test drives, because I felt like it didn't give me the same engagement as the E36. And with this car being high torque, high power, I just felt like I wouldn't have been able to unleash the real power of the car without having the DCT. So if I was going with like a E46, obviously if I was going to E92 with the V8, it being a slower car, longer rev range, I would have opted to go with the manual. But with this car, I just feel like the DCT is great technology, really efficient, and overall just a better match for the engine and driving style. And to be fair, I did consult with a lot of folks that I know had both manual and DCT in these cars, and the general consensus was that, you know, while obviously it's considered an automatic, you will still get that engagement from the DCT, where it still kind of gives a feeling of manual. That might sound crazy, but it doesn't feel like a ZF8 in the you know, in the new G80s, G chassis. It still gives a mechanical feeling to the driving experience. So I think it's a best of both worlds. If you're on the fence for manual, if you're a really manual guy, then obviously go for the manual. But you know, that's something that could affect your ownership experience. If you decide to go with the manual, you also got to keep in mind that the you know, the tuning capacity, what the clutch could handle. You go upgraded clutch, is a stiffer clutch. So a lot of things to consider there with how you plan to use the car. I've seen a lot of guys go big turbo with the manual cars, and then third gear usually goes out first. You have to replace the transmission a couple times. Whereas a DCT, you throw some upgraded clutches in there, you don't have a difference in driving experience, but it could handle a lot more power before you have to make big investments and big changes. So, you know, kind of happy I went with the DCT. I manifested that on last week's video. On the back roads, the DCT is just very fun, very engaging, you know, and overall faster than the manual, of course. Yeah, man, today's like perfect, bro. It's like you don't get a lot of days like these in Jersey. So about to hit this meet, and then we got the gym after. Boy, gotta get them gains, boy. One thing you don't have to look out for though is getting tired of this car. Always engaging, looks timeless, handles like a dream. Yo, what up, bro? Good to see you, bro. I've been alright. Damn, there's some sick cars pulling up. Sick ass whip.
That's the ass of Lauren, bro.
Yeah, that shit's crazy, bro.
That shit is crazy.
Damn.
One in the meet.
What red is this, bro?
Aventura in red.
Aventura red. I feel like it's the first time I've seen this.
They don't, apparently, like, people don't see a lot of them in the wild. I wish I got a fucking wash before I came here, but it is what it is.
F82 M4. As you can see, this is a Pre-LCI, so it does not have the icons. You'll see on the seat emblems, those are silver. This looks like it's a comp. Also, it doesn't have LCI taillights. Ooh. looks like a Starlet. Toyota Starlet? Yeah. See, I know my shit. Growing up, bro, these were the real like street cars in Jamaica. My boy on slicks too. You know he cooking. Hold up. Hold up. This does not look regular, bro. Something's going on. Nah. Nah. K-swap? K-swap on the Suzuki? Very nice. See, this is what I'm trying to get back to, bro. The white looks so sick with these polished wheels, polished lips, and silver faces. I think having this and an M4, DCT, and a manual E36, perfect combination. Sick Teggy. Purple on the outside, silver on the inside. Full race car, no seats, bro. The Beamer boys over here. Another F82, cool. I really like this lip. So I was thinking about running this front lip. It's a GT4 front lip. I think it looks really aggressive. However, I don't think this would clear on my driveway, so I didn't want to take an L. I think these go for like 600 bucks, but this looks really good. So silver cage. This kind of gives me a vibe of where I want to go with the M4. So similar blue. I do want to go with a cage, a GTS style cage. Let me know what you guys think. Should I go full race car on the setup? Maybe go with some lighter shade wheels, or kind of stick with the street look that I'm going for so far. Sick ass Evo wheels. So dope. Ooh. I think this is Grigio Telesto. Clean ass setup. And some BBS. I think these are RIAs, I'm not sure. Or CHRs. Very clean setup. Brush faces, polished lips. It's a pretty dope shop. It's in the cut, so if you know, you know. But nice little vibe over here. British Racing Green Honda Civic. Got that Christmas spec red interior. Nice carbon lip. Dope. A lot of 2000s vibes today. Yo, crazy ass 1M. Crazy ass 1M. I wonder if this is original. Could be a 135, but looks pretty sick, bro. My boy and I are hard parked right now. M4 is looking clean. Got my boy chilling on the seat right now. But yeah, that kind of takes me to the last item, which I want to tell you guys about buying these cars, which is about deciding if you're gonna buy LCI versus Pre-LCI, and some of the things that you could see differences are with the LCI is having the icon headlights. So these have more of like a C shape, a little bit more aggressive in my opinion. And then moving on to the interior, You get these emblems which are in black now. I showed you that before, but on the LCI those come in black. And then obviously not a lot changed on the interior, like in terms of the dash setup. And then in the rear you get the shadow line taillights, which are a lot more aggressive compared to the Pre-LCI. And I can kind of show you a Pre-LCI, but damn, that rear looks crazy with the diffuser. Whether you decide to go LCI or Pre-LCI is huge, because the headlights alone, if you decide, oh, I'm gonna go Pre-LCI and then upgrade to LCI headlights, that's like $4 grand for the headlights, so $2K each. And then the rear taillights, that's another like $2,000. So obviously you might think you're getting a deal, but if you're gonna swap out all these parts eventually, then you know you're gonna run yourself like $6,000 to $10,000 just upgrading to the LCI stuff. So this is what the Pre-LCI headlights kind of look like. That was a good meet. Cops started to pull up, so that's about time to leave. But yeah, good turnout, some good cars today. I feel like that's rare nowadays. So good to get out sometimes, see some dope cars. I'm about to hit the gym right now, but yeah, that kind of sums it up on, you know, the 3 things I think you got to be aware of when buying these F82 or F80 F-Series M cars. Like I said, you know, these things could greatly impact your ownership experience and how much money you have to spend after the fact, after buying it. Let me know what you guys think, or if you're owner of one of these cars, you know, if there's anything you would add to the list. Those are just my top 3, but obviously there's a ton of things. And as these cars, because they're still pretty new, I know my car's a 2020, so that's what, 5 years old since the newest one was made. But as they start to age, things will pop up like rod bearings and things of that nature that you'll have to start watching out for. But as of now, if you're looking to pick one of these up, you know, if you could find a good deal, just you know, keep an eye on those things. And I decided to make this video because one of my friends are shopping for one, and those, you know, that's what I told him, so felt like this could be helpful. But if you enjoyed the car meet vlog style, let me know. I'm down to go to more of those events. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Your boy's about to hit a crazy pump session. Let me know what you guys want to see on the next video, but I already have something in mind. But stay tuned, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.